It happened. Everyone who watched this knew what's going to happen. So for those of you who didn't see Poland versus Czechia, former Czech Republic, uh, 1-1, 1-1. I'm going to do this in English first, and I'm going to turn it over in Polish. What a disappointing result. And it's typical. It's typical of this Poland team that they always choke when it matters the most. This has been one of the worst qualification groups uh, in recent memory, and the easiest too. You had Albania, you had Moldova, you had Czech Republic, Czechia. Ugh, I can't say it, didn't you? The Czechs, basically, and you had the Faroe Islands. This is a group you need to come out from. You cannot lose the qualifications in this group. It is so disappointing to see a team with one of the greatest players in the world, Robert Lewandowski, completely fold in and out constantly, just fold and not be able to deliver in the biggest moments. And that's what we learned from this Polish team, that whenever they're up against something, they fall flat. So that is super disappointing. And they still have a chance with the Nations League playoff. Not looking good. It's probably going to be Italy. It's a tough road to get in. The easy road was right here, and they blew it. They needed a win today. They were leading in the first half, and then, of course, started off the second half on a bad note. And immediately, once I knew that that the Czechs were in the game, it was game over from there on. So, a very disappointing result. Feels like a loss because it is a loss. They didn't afford to have a tie. So what goes on next? Michal Pobiež, will he go forward as the manager into the playoffs? I'd say you have to stick with him at this point. It's coming up in March. Yes, you do have time for a change, but you don't have time to set up a new trainer for the team, and you just got to go forward. Hey, the guys that have been here at the dance, I guess you write it out. And then if they don't qualify, they are done from there on. So Demo's here. Probably not interested in my soccer chat, but thanks for tuning in. And yeah, so for those of you who are watching the Euro soccer qualifications, it's the final week of it. And a lot of fun teams are playing and fighting for qualifications. So I got my Real Madrid swag right here. But it's fun if you're a soccer fan. So enjoy it before the end of the year, before all the teams are decided for next summer's Euros in Germany in 2024. It should be always a great tournament. And then, of course, the next tournament we're having right here in the U.S., the World Cup in 2026. So the European tournaments next year, and these are the final rounds of qualifications. And the casual, the regular suspects are there as always for those casual fans. So you got England. You're gonna have Portugal, Spain, Germany qualifies by being the hosts. France, but you're having some really interesting teams too coming on, qualifying in this round that have never played in the tournaments, in the big tournaments. So it should be interesting too, having these newcomers. But yeah, my rap reaction to the Poland, Czech Republic game. Disappointing for Poland. Superstar Robert Lewandowski did not come through, and 1-1 means that they are eliminated from instant qualification and have to go to the playoff round in March. So there's that. Enjoy plenty more games coming up over the weekend and the next few days until Tuesday or Wednesday, I believe. And then that'll be it for the qualifications. We'll know who made it and announcements of who's going to play who. The draw is going to be in early December. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, that was my first soccer chat, so I'll do more of those. Oh, okay, Demon, what's my favorite soccer team? So my national favorite team is the USA for the national team, and Poland. I root for it because of my ties and where my family's from. But yeah, like club teams, Real Madrid, the Spanish team, Real Madrid, they're legendary. My favorite player is Cristiano Ronaldo, not Messi. So it's like you either like Ronaldo or Messi. You can't like both. It's like you just don't cross that line. They're adversaries. They're competitors. You're either Team Messi or Team Ronaldo. I've always been Team Ronaldo, and now he's playing off in Qatar or Saudi Arabia, somewhere around there. So no more in Europe, but he still plays for the national team. So you will see Ronaldo playing for Portugal, and most likely in next year's tournament, as he's playing right now to qualify. So they've qualified, they're good. But those are my teams I root for. I've been a big Ronaldo fan. He had his best years in Real Madrid. So, oh yeah, okay. We're going to go a little bit of red carpet talk. Sure. I am excited for the red carpets, and that it's finally over. The strikes are over, and finally business will be back in session, but it will take a little bit. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time for everyone to get back into it. So there still needs to be some voting happening over the weekend to make sure that this term, that terms they agree to are going to be passed. So it's not completely over yet. They stopped striking, but the deal is tentative. So it could still be turned down with a lot of votes from voting members. So it's not official, but once that's cleared, we'll be back to business, and it'll be exciting to go back on red carpets right before the end of the year too, because we don't have much left of. That's why there's so many releases in this week and the week following Thanksgiving, because it's just the last really couple of weeks to do this before the holidays, and then it shuts down, and then we restart really quickly in January. It's full steam for award season. So this year it's going to be jam-packed because we have the Emmys, the Golden Globes, a lot of these shows that have been missed because of the strike are going to ramp up right away, start January. So it's going to be a crazy and wild award season as soon as it starts in January. So now it's kind of the little final push, and then some time off for the holidays, and then we'll be right back at it. So excited about that. And Demo, you always been a fan and following, so always cool to see you on a chat and joining. Familiar face for sure. And of course, if you're wondering about wrestling, this is also a major time right now too, with Survivor Series tomorrow night. It's Full Gear in LA. So that's a big show coming up there. Should be some exciting revelations and new signings. But then we have Survivor Series in Chicago. So my two spots, Chicago and LA, are both having major back-to-back wrestling pay-per-views in a span of a week, really. So that'll be really exciting to see both of these shows. Survivor Series should have a lot of interesting things happening too, and potential returns of Randy Orton, maybe CM Punk. Always an exciting show, and they're going to put on a great show at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, as they always do. The hottest wrestling crowd in the country, maybe even in the world. It definitely rivals the UK crowds. That's how you can ask. Like, I've seen so many interviews with Stone Cold and Edge saying that Allstate Arena is the loudest arena they've been in. It's because it's uniquely structured. It really is like a wooden roof, so it really holds the sound. It traps the sound inside of it. It really is a best wrestling town, and I'm slightly biased, but it really is. If you ever been here, Demo, it's crazy loud in the Allstate Arena. So yeah, that roof, that ceiling, it traps in the noise, so it all just bounces back and feeds back to the ring, which is always crazy loud. You can hear it on TV sometimes when they run events, and pay attention during Survivor Series. You'll hear how the sound booms and bounces back. It should be a great show, and the forum's gonna have AEW, so That's a market they're tapping into. They've done a show previously at the Forum, but that's the LA market that they're trying to expand to too. So it should be interesting to see if there's a big AEW crowd at the Forum in LA. They're a huge Chicago town also, and AEW ironically is gonna be here the week of Survivor Series. So they're doing their Thanksgiving Eve show in Chicago, and then 2 days later, literally, yeah, it's gonna be SmackDown at Allstate Arena. So Chicago next week is gonna be Wrestling Town Central. This weekend it's in LA. Yeah, you should watch AEW. It's got a lot of cool wrestlers from the WWE and a lot of new prospects and potential future WWE stars there. I like it. It's kind of more old school. It's more like WCW used to be. So if you're into that, it's more wrestling oriented and more so to like an adult crowd. Like there's more blood, there's more violence in it too. So it's centered for more kind of old school wrestling fans, purists, and fans of New Japan Wrestling. But WWE is like more of obviously sports entertainment. So both have their fan bases. Obviously WWE's been around for a long time, so they have theirs. But AEW is a good switch up, a change of pace for those that like seeing some of their old school favorites like Chris Jericho and Sting still wrestling, and mixed in with some new stars of today. So it's a fun alternative, but I get being a WWE fan because many grew up on them, and AEW is still new, so that makes sense. But are you watching Survivor Series? Are you gonna watch it on Peacock, or coming to Chicago maybe for it? I know it's been sold out. It's really, they had to even expect a small stage because they really sold out the seats behind the stage. So they really added a lot of new seats, but they tore down the stage. So it's going to be a really small setup for a stage because they added new seats for Survivor Series. That's how much interest there was in it to do that. So, okay, yeah, catch up. It's a good time to catch up now. We're in a season where we're going towards Royal Rumble and then WrestleMania. So Survivor Series is kind of the end point of it all, as you know. Yeah, Roman is champion for 3 years. Hopefully, I think it's coming to an end at WrestleMania. So till March, I think he's going to be champion, and then it makes so much sense for him to drop it at that point. So. But he's been a decent champion. He's carried a company for 3 years. He hasn't been there all the time, which is the one disappointing thing about it. He's taking a lot of time off, and he does part-time schedule. But it's time for a new change, and someone like Cody Rhodes or build a new star, Gunther maybe. But Roman Reigns has held it down and kept it interesting in the meantime. Yes, they do want CM Punk to return, for sure. Especially if here in the Chicago crowd. The whole thing that happened with AEW is just a messy situation, but him returning to the WWE would be really kind of nostalgic, and I think he could help a lot of younger talent there too, and obviously the fan interest is there, so definitely could see him bring in a lot of excitement, even if it's in a short run, especially towards WrestleMania, that build. You could have some exciting matches with him. Really, for like half a year to a year, I think CM Punk could be a big hit in WWE and get a lot of fans back into it. Yeah, he would have new feuds for sure, because a lot of these new guys are all new that he hasn't been around with. So yeah, there's the Randy Ortons and a few other, old school leftovers. But when he left 8 years ago now, there's a lot of new fresh faces, and a lot of, you could have Seth Rollins, you could have Roman Reigns versus him, some of the new young talent. Yeah, he would absolutely elevate them. He's at a point in his career where he's fine with elevating. He was going to do that in AEW. It's just a lot of politicking there. But I think he would do a great job and put on some good matches with some younger talent. And it'd be exciting to see him do that in WWE on a large scale. So maybe he'll return. It's not out of the box. I think they're just maybe keeping it a secret because that would be huge. So they wouldn't want to leak it this early. But there's a chance. And there's always a chance for a surprise. And Survivor Series could be that moment or Royal Rumble would be that moment because WrestleMania would be too late. Oh gosh, I love Mandy Rose. She's just out of wrestling right now. So she's doing a podcast with her fiance that just started. It's on YouTube and I think Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff. I forgot the name of it, but it's her and her fiance. It's kind of interesting. So she's out there making a lot more money than she was in wrestling. So it's all working out for her. But I still have lots of love for Mandy Rose. So thanks for asking that. But on that note, I'm going to conclude this. Good for you to check in, Demo, early on. Others will see this later. But yeah, I covered a lot of bases here. So stay out. I'll do this again. So keep an eye out on it. And have a good holiday, everyone out there. And you too, Demo. Happy Thanksgiving. And I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya. Thank you. You too.